The story of Moses and the parting of the Red Sea. As long as they could remember, the Israelites had toiled under the Pharaoh's whip, crying out beneath the scorching sun under the weight of their heavy burdens. Raised as Egyptian royalty, Moses walked the palace halls with privilege, but his heart remained with his enslaved people. Seeing an Egyptian beat a Hebrew, Moses struck him down and fled into the desert to escape Pharaoh's wrath. In the wilderness, Moses heard God speak from a flame that did not burn, commanding him to free his people. With staff in hand and Aaron by his side, Moses returned to Egypt to fulfill God's command. Standing before the Pharaoh, Moses declared, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was cold and unmoved. God turned the Nile to blood, yet Pharaoh still refused to listen. The plagues had begun. More plagues struck Egypt. Frogs, locusts, darkness, and hail swept through Egypt each plague, a warning that the Pharaoh stubbornly continued to ignore. In the still night, death passed over Egypt, taking the Pharaoh's son. The only homes spared from the pestilence and plagues were those marked with lamb's blood. Finally, the Pharaoh relents. The Exodus begins. Freed at last, the Israelites hurried out of Egypt with unleavened bread and the promise of deliverance. God guides by cloud and fire. By day, a pillar of cloud leads them. By night, fire blazes and the sky god is with them on the journey. Pharaoh's heart has hardened again. He sends his chariots racing after the fleeing Israelites. The followers were trapped. Before them stretched the enormous Red Sea. Behind them thundered the Pharaoh's army. The people were terrified. Moses stood tall and said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord today." The Lord said to Moses, "Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide it." Moses raises his staff, and with a great wind, the sea splits apart, walls of water rise up, and a path of dry ground appears. The Israelites stepped forward in faith, walking between the towering waters as the wind howled around them. Chariots thundered into the sea passage in pursuit. The Pharaoh's warriors followed, determined to recapture the Israelites. God threw the army into confusion, wheels jammed, horses panicked. Terror filled the hearts of the Pharaoh's men. While the army panics, Moses, having raised his hand, stands back and watches the walls of water suddenly collapse. With a deafening roar, the walls of water had crashed down, swallowing the Pharaoh's army in an instant. The Israelites stood breathless on the far shore, the sea calm again. God had delivered them from the Pharaoh. Moses and Miriam led the people in joyful song. The Lord had triumphed gloriously. With faith renewed, the Israelites turned from the sea and stepped into the wilderness, guided by God's promise.